evening, ladies and gentlemen. We made it! Officially tonight, the Winnipeg Jets and the Colorado Avalanche will start their first round series of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I'm really excited. I'm a little nervous, but you know what? I'm not as nervous as I was last year. I'm more excited this year than last year. And this is our official matchup preview of that series. Honestly, I think, despite the fact, obviously, that Winnipeg should technically be the slight favorite due to the fact that they are the higher seeded team and games 1, 2, 5, and possibly 5 and 7, if necessary, will be in Winnipeg, I don't see, shall we say, as many fantasy brackets picking Winnipeg in the long scheme of things. And I kind of understand that in terms of the Avalanche are a very marketable team. They're a very reputable team. They have playoff experience. They've at least made the second round for quite significantly over the past couple of years. However, last year they did get upset by the Seattle Kraken. That being said, I think this is a turning of the page for the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets have, over the past couple of years, finally gotten to the point where they've kind of revitalized their core and they have moved around the parts around their core to maximize their effort. And it's been significant. Unlike the last 5 years, shall we say, the Winnipeg Jets did not limp into the playoffs. And that has been a continuing narrative that has always plagued the Winnipeg Jets going into the first round. It's, okay, you got here, but you were not convincing getting here. By the end of 2019, we were getting terrified because the Blues were shooting upwards and we were trending downwards. In 2020, we kind of just were mid the entire season and we never truly got better and it cost us in the play-in rounds. In 2021, we went on a 7-game losing streak before winning 1 out of the last 3 games to shockingly sweep the Edmonton Oilers. In 2022, it never got better and we missed the playoffs. In 2023, we were the best team in the West by the beginning of January, but by mid-February, we were battling for a wild card spot. This season, however, the Jets did suffer a 6-game losing streak, but in that losing streak, the Jets completely found their game. First off, worth noting, the losing streak took place later in the season than a typical collapse starts at, and they were able to salvage it. And it's the salvaging part that is so important. The Jets come into the 2024 playoffs on an 8-game winning streak. Now, granted, the last game really doesn't count since a bunch of regulars were rested. But the fact that they were able to get the job done is something that should be commended. We're going to look at the head-to-head here, though. The Avalanche have had an incredible season as well. That being said, I think it's fair to say some of their fans' expectations have not always been met. The Avalanche are a good team. They also, though, are a team that has to play games way more entertaining than they should be. For example, Avalanche had the most third-period comebacks of any team, pretty much multi-goal comebacks of any team. Now, that happened because they get under the 8 ball early. Even a game against the Pittsburgh Penguins, they were down 4-0. They had to come back to win 5-4. Fun fact, if the Penguins would have won that game, they might have been in a playoff spot by now. What a world. It's that mentality of never giving up that makes the Avalanche so dangerous. However, it does mean that if the Jets can get on them early, the game is not over, but it means that the Jets can generate opportunities from that. That's what I was worried about in game 79, I believe, of the season, was it was game 80, I think, actually. Game 80 of the season, when the Jets played the Avalanche, when we got up 4-0, I was like, okay, this is great. This is awesome. I'm so excited. Watch for the pushback. And they did, and they handled it, and they won 7-0. The head-to-head series, the Winnipeg Jets sweep the Colorado Avalanche 3-0. They won one game before New Year's 6-2. They won a game I believe, a month or so after, 4-2 in Colorado, and they won their final game against them in Colorado 7-0. And it's worth noting that the Colorado Avalanche are a very good home team. Nathan MacKinnon's point streak should attest to that. However, they only have about 9 or 10 losses at home. 2 of those losses are to your Winnipeg Jets. On the road, they're completely unknown to an extent. They're a good team on the road, but their home stats really prop them up. Also, some things of note in terms of the injury report. Morgan Barron is out for the Winnipeg Jets, meaning that the fourth line position will be available for either Cole Perfetti or David Gustafsson to slot in. I personally think Cole Perfetti is probably the obvious pick, but I think, knowing Rick Bowness, David Gustafsson is the guy that will draw in. For the Avalanche, they have a little bit of injury troubles themselves. Jonathan Drouin has been announced out for the entirety of the first round, and that's a blow to the Avalanche. He was having a career year with Nathan MacKinnon. He rekindled that chemistry, and he was on their top line. He looks to be replaced with Zach Parise on the top line, which is fine, but I think Avalanche fans, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Zach Parise is the guy he once was, and I don't think he's eliciting the most confident reactions from you, right? He could be a playoff warrior, though. This is his last dance, after all. It's just worth noting that, obviously, yeah, you probably shouldn't have played all your stars in Game 82, but I digress. Who are going to be the X Factor players in this series? Well, in net for the Jets, Connor Hellebuck is going to have to make a difference out there. Yes, the Jets, I would say, have a better layered team than the Avalanche. I think the Avalanche are a little bit top-heavy, and their defense is top-heavy as well. I think the defense is kind of on par with the Winnipeg Jets, but the Jets' systems for defense are better systems. That's my take on that. The Avalanche have high-end talent, and if that high-end talent can carry them, they will get the job done in this series. But if the Jets stick to their systems and stick to their team gameplay, the Winnipeg Jets, I have the Winnipeg Jets winning this in 6. And I think that might actually be generous to the Colorado Avalanche. No disrespect, but I think that the Jets are trending upwards. I can feel it. This year feels different. I could be absolutely shattered in a week and have nothing go right. But I think this matchup favors the Winnipeg Jets. Offensively, the Jets have a better layered offense of running 4 lines. The Avalanche, on the other hand, have a little bit more top-heavy. Their bottom 2 forward lines don't really move the needle a lot. They play really good hockey, but they don't move the needle. I will say this, though, in terms of needs and wants at the trade deadline, both these teams got exactly what they wanted. The Jets, however, were willing to spend a little bit higher to get a little bit more of a high-end talent in terms of filling out their offensive roster. Avalanche went for Brandon Duhaime, Yakov Trenin, and Sean Walker, while the Winnipeg Jets focused on Sean Monahan, Tyler Toffoli, and Colin Miller. And Tyler Toffoli and Sean Monahan especially, has been key and pivotal to course-correcting that second line so that they are a point-producing team. If the Jets roll 4 lines and they match up the MacKinnon line with the Lowry line, they can, in a perfect world, shut down the MacKinnon line and run through their 4 lines to get offense. The big Achilles heel to the Colorado Avalanche is something I've kind of alluded to by saying who the X-Factor players for the Jets are. It's Georgiev. Georgiev is the Achilles heel to the Avalanche. Georgiev, despite having the most wins of any goalie on the year, he has a very below grade or average save percentage in comparison. And I believe they're pretty low in terms of saves needed rather than saves they're getting. It's a team where a lot of times they're just having to outscore their problems. And I know what you're thinking, but Zach, you always have to outscore your problems. That's how you win hockey games. No. how you win hockey games is you play better and the results will come. They have had to outscore their problems despite playing better, and it has been a little bit nerve-wracking. Justus Annunen is also their backup, who's solid in my opinion, but doesn't have any playoff experience. Rather, as the Jets, if they have to go tandem-wise, if something horrible happens to Connor Hellebuyck, they do have Stanley Cup champion Laurent Brossoit backing them up. So it's good. So life is good in the net for the Winnipeg Jets. However, with the playoffs, that will always come new challenges. Connor Hellebuyck historically has had a little bit of problems in the playoffs, especially as of recently. But overall, he's a good goaltender that just needs the guys to play in front of him. Last year, he had no help in front of him. This year, he's got Dylan Sandberg, who I have to say has turned over a new leaf in terms of defensive output. He's got a lot of people. Dylan DeMello, Josh Morrissey, Brendan Dillon. Those guys have bought into the system. Neil Pionk, please don't Pionkisms it. Please don't Pionk it up. I don't want any 3-on-0s today. And honestly, like, if they can just limit their worst mistakes, the Winnipeg Jets are going to be successful in this game. Now, there is the little bit of a tiny curse they have to get rid of. They haven't won a home game with a whiteout crowd since 2018 when I was in high school. So that will need to be fixed today. But yeah, honestly, I have the Jets winning this series in 6, and I'm excited. Actually, I'm going to be at the street parties for games 1 and 2. If you see me, just say hi. Give me your name. It's very nice to meet all of you. It's really exciting. I'll probably be a little nervous. I might be a little intoxicated, but yes, I will very much appreciate that. Also, I'm going to be asking some questions downtown today. I'll be going around with Carter, and we're just going to be asking a couple people's questions on how they think the NHL playoffs are going to go. So if you see me, come say hello. Appreciate you guys so much for watching. Thanks so much. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Go Jets, go! And we will see you later tonight after Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Nikolai Ehlers chips it through, gets around, and he shoots and scores!